Hello everybody, welcome back to the show. My guest today is Leo Mckinnon. He's a student, teacher, worker, brother, and one of my oldest friends. We got to go for a nice walk today to catch up and talk about whatever was on our minds. Today you can expect to learn about my family's participation in the Dog Guides foster program, what pets can do for a family, types of discipline that you can learn as a child, our opinions on the differences between generalized and specialized university programs, the enjoyment of finally being able to apply things we've learned in the class to real-world issues, a lesson on economics, both macro and micro, as well as the intricacies of econometrics, or econometrics. Why the assumptions you make when looking at data is very important, how interest rates work from a central bank and how governments can control national economies, what the ideal interest rate is for a country and why, what potential output means for a country, how the euro messes with each country a little bit differently, the monetary trilemma, and Leo's personal future and professional aspirations. It was a great conversation that was both fun and taught me a whole lot about how economies work around the world, and it was very interesting. I thought there were some very cool things I took away from the conversation, and I hope you enjoy.
All right, we are live. We are going.
Okay,
Which
great.
way do you want to go? This way or that way? Let's go that way.
Okay, sure.
I don't know. I haven't walked this park in a long time.
We used to come here all the time when we were kids.
Yeah. Was there like any park structures or is it just walking trails?
Mostly trails.
Mostly trails.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
all, it's like the,
16 mile.
yeah,
Yeah. Building new.
like the other valley.
Yeah. Dude, it's fucking crazy. We met in what, grade 7, 6? 6 or 7.
Something like that, yeah.
And we are now, how old are you in grade 6 or 7? I think we've been over
12.
this. 12? I
I think you go into grade 1 at 6.
I think you go into grade 1 at, actually 6
I
kind of
was-
makes sense.
I was 7 in grade 2, but I guess it depends on when you're born.
Yeah. Well, either way,
But roughly,
it's been a
long
fucking
time.
10 years
Yes, sir.
or so. That's crazy. I think that's, do you have any friends from like early elementary school so that you still stay in contact with that aren't really
One.
family friends? One?
Just one, yeah.
Just one?
No, I lie, 2.
2?
One, he actually went to Morden as well.
Who?
Andrew Bothville.
Oh, Bobdell, yeah.
I've been friends with him since grade 2.
Oh, damn.
And then another person that I recently got back in touch with, she went to the first grade school that I went to, Sunningdale.
Ah,
Is anything this way? Do you know?
not a clue.
I know there's a lot more trail that way.
Is there a lot more trail that way?
Yeah, I don't know
Let's
how
go
much
that
is
way.
up there.
Oh, there's a party going on, a dog party going on. Potty. That's crazy. Yeah, this looks like a pretty pumping park. Got lots of walkers here. That's
So-
crazy.
I don't know a lot about your dog breeding.
My dog breeding?
Well, you breed dogs for dog guides, no?
That is true. That is something that my family does. It's mostly my mom.
Okay.
Yeah. And we.
So
but-
how does that work? Do you get paid for it? Is it something that you just do for fun?
Okay, so basically the incentive structure on it is like, one, it's for a good cause, number one.
Yeah.
You're breeding dogs
Of course, yeah.
that go into the training program. We've got like our one breeding dog, we've been doing this for 8 or 9 years, maybe even longer than that. Our one dog's like 11, the retired breeding dog. And she's had like 49 puppies. This one's had like,
Oh my God.
yeah, I know, fucking.
How many
She's
is in
putting
a
up
typical
numbers.
litter? Like 10?
Typical is like, for this breed, typical is like 6, 7, 8.
Yeah,
But she was having big litters. Like one of her litters went up to like 11.
that's crazy.
So
Still though, that's a lot of,
yeah, but the
a lot of
incentive
kids.
structure is like, it's like having your own dog, but you can do whatever you want with, like if you're, because we started off fostering dog guides where you have to train them, can't play tug of war, can't do a lot of dog things, like
Just
you can't play
discipline,
fetch.
right?
It's kind of just, discipline, and then like you can snuggle with them and stuff, but they're not allowed on furniture.
Yeah.
So there's like a lot of rules for the puppy, but it is also a puppy.
Yeah.
So that's fun. But with a breeding dog, you get to have it as your own pet, and it is a dog that you can do whatever you want with, but you don't have to pay any vet bills.
Oh,
any
it's all
food.
covered?
It's all covered by dog
That's
guides.
really cool.
So you kind of just get your own dog, and then
So the only downside is really looking after a bunch of puppies
yeah, which
at
is
one given time.
which is an option. Like normally with
That's fine.
oh, you can go down the stairs, I guess, or around it. There's a big old fence in our path.
This path blocked fence has been here for years. And
That's
no
funny.
one,
No
only
one
people
cares?
that can't go past it are people that are,
With strollers, or
yes, with strollers, yeah.
or I guess it blocks bikes as well.
A little bit.
Yeah, that's funny. No, but yeah, so you don't have to pay any vet or food, and then when they are going to have puppies, you have the option of either. Actually, I don't even know how it is anymore because I'm pretty sure there is no option. They just take the dog for about 2 months in their breeding facility. Like they've got a whole facility out in Guelph that is for just breeding.
Yeah.
And so you just don't get the dog for those 2 months. But because we are been doing it so long, and there used to be the option of you could home breed them where you have to look after the litter, but then you get 6 or 8 puppies to chill with.
Yeah.
Or yeah, you can send it away. And what my family's done, because we've done it so long, this last time about 2 months ago, yeah, we had a family of puppies. There were 7 of them. So 7 little golden retriever Labrador mixes chilling in the house.
So you have them bred and you take care of them until they're just old enough to be able to go to dog guides, I presume?
Yeah, so
Gotcha.
fostering of the puppies begins at approximately 8 weeks, 7 or 8 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
And so yeah, we look after them for how they did it this time was we gave up the breeder to go to the facility for 2 weeks to have the puppies and make sure that the puppies are all healthy, because there must have been some sort of complications at one of the houses once. Now they have to do all that. And then after 2 weeks, they load them up in a van, drive them out to our house. And yeah, we just take them and put them in our living room in a little pen. And for the first 2 or 3 weeks, it's perfect. They don't have their eyes or ears open yet. And all they do is just kind of squirm around and sleep.
Yeah.
Those are the 2 options.
Do you get to decide which ones you keep?
No.
Because you get to keep a few, or at least I've seen a few new dogs, and I assume they're from previous litters, right?
Yes. So, yeah. So after it's all over, we get to say that, either we don't want one of the ones from the litter, if we already have a foster puppy,
Yeah.
then we're just not going to take another one. Holy shit, that was a big hill. Yeah, so we could either say no, we don't want one, or yeah, we want one. And I don't know why they don't let favoritism happen, but all we can basically say is we want a white one or we want a black one,
Yeah.
and then they'll
That's it.
choose which one we get.
I see.
So it's not like we can have them all there and pick out our favorite and then just get that one forever. But yeah, typically,
There's got to be a reason for that. There's no way they don't allow it for no reason.
yeah, it's probably some sort of
Randomization.
favoritism, randomization. They also don't let us share the names publicly, because what will happen is if the names leak,
Yeah.
then someone that's getting a puppy will be like, oh, I want this one. This one's got a cool name.
Oh, I see.
And then if 2 people want the same puppy and only one person gets it, then it's just asking for conflicts to arise. The more choice is available, because then
people are
other
that.
people
I
will
didn't even know that was a thing.
will
How do you receive the dog if you're someone in the public? How do you go about receiving the
oh
dog?
yeah. So there's a big old list you have to sign up for.
Yeah.
That you just get put on a list, and then they just empty out the queue with all the puppies that they get and offer you a dog. And then you say no, I'm pretty sure you go to the back of the line.
Right.
So if you say yes, you get your puppy. And then the whole fostering thing is about a year-long commitment where you get it from about 2 months old to about a year and 2 months old. Training and stuff. And yeah, you just kind of sign up for it. There is all sorts of like classes and vet meetings and checkups that Dog Guides does do on new people, because they can't just be like giving out their dogs to anyone that's in like a bad home, or just you can tell that they're not going to train them.
Yeah. Do the dogs only go out to people who need them, or like, you know, provide a reasonable cause to have one, like you're blind or deaf or disabled or something?
Like after they have gone through their training?
Well, like, no, say you want to sign up on the list, do you have to provide some sort of credential that you actually need one of these dogs?
Okay,
like,
so there's a few different lists.
Yeah.
So the list that I'm talking about is the list to foster.
Okay.
And fostering is for the first year. You do the basic training, sit down, stand, wait, like come, all of the really basic commands that they can learn in the first year. And then after that, they go back to the facility there's another facility that they have that's parallel with the breeding facility, where they have actual dog trainers for the 6 or 7 or 8 streams that they have. There's like diabetic alert dogs, seeing eye dogs, hearing ear dogs, autism assistance dogs,
so more
service
specific.
dogs. Yeah, very specific.
Gotcha.
And then if you want one of those dogs, then you do have to, of course, you're going to have to, if you're trying to get a wheelchair, like a service assistance, which is for like people in wheelchair, open doors for you, do whatever you want. You can't just
open
walk.
doors for you. They press the buttons and stuff?
They can do that.
That's pretty cool.
They'll like get stuff from the fridge for you.
Oh my God.
All that type of stuff. Like, they're very extremely well trained.
Yeah.
And so yeah, you have to go on that list. And if I signed up myself for wheelchair assistance dogs and then walked into the building being like, yo, where my dog at?
Yeah.
I don't think they would give me a dog. So yes, there would have to be medical reason to get one of those dogs. And then there's another list that you can get on if you just wanted one of those dogs, which is for the quote unquote career change dogs.
Right.
Which means they didn't pass.
I see.
For whatever reason. Typically, the reason is that it is a medical reason.
Yeah.
Like if they've got like a hip, something or other that's pretty common in dogs, or they've got like some minor allergies or major allergies or major complications. Like,
are they then just meant for more of moral support?
No, at that point, a career change is just like, they're just like, this dog is not going to get through the program. I can't give like an unhealthy dog or a stupid dog to someone, to a client.
Yeah.
So it just goes up for adoption, and like anyone can get a dog. But then you run the risk of heavier vet bills, because like once it's not their dog anymore, they're not food at the vet. Like it's more expensive food if they've got allergies.
So in the career change dogs, they go to the general public, people who aren't disabled necessarily, and it's not covered.
Exactly.
I see.
Exactly. But that's like a pretty common thing to do, because you basically just get an extremely well-trained dog.
Yeah.
That you just have to cover whatever else.
I
and then you also don't get it as a puppy.
You don't have to buy the dog?
I don't think so. I think you just kind of, sign up on the list and they just be giving them out. But maybe you have to do, I don't know. Initially, that's what our family, about 10 or 11 years ago, initially signed up for, was to be on that list.
Yeah.
But at that point, the list was like, because everyone was figuring out about, I can just get like well-trained dogs, then I don't have to do the work of training it. You just kind of have to maintain their intelligence.
Yeah.
Everyone was figuring that out. So we were like waiting 2 years, and my mom was like, fuck it, let's get a puppy for a year and see how it works.
Right.
Go through the motions. And then, we just fell in love with the program, then got a breeding dog and all of that.
So you don't get paid for it at all? You don't get
you don't get
anything
paid
out of it besides the experience with the dog?
Exactly.
Gotcha.
And you get to, like my parents will go to all the dog graduations. So after they go back and get trained, we'll meet the new family of where the dog's going.
Yeah.
For example, our second foster went to a family out in Saskatchewan or something, or Alberta or something like that, for an autism assistance thing.
Yeah.
It was like a 4 or 5 year old kid that was nonverbal, like couldn't really do much, but then got the autism assistance dog that will like calm the kid down when he's having panic attacks and stuff, or like prevent him from like running away. Like you can tether the dog to the kid, and then if the kid tries to run, the dog just knows to anchor, and the kid can't run away. And like stuff like that. And she was actually on a TV show for this, like however many years ago.
Yeah.
And it helped the kid like become verbal and be more like able to be in public without freaking out.
That's really good.
And so like you get to hear stories like that. Or there was one of our dogs went to a partially deaf or completely deaf person in BC who was like training to become a doctor or something, and like helped with that. And so yeah, you get to see all these cool stories and families, and
That's
it's
really
like,
good.
yeah, I trained that dog, and yeah, like that's the experience. Plus, yeah, you just get a free-ish, mostly free dog, and
I wonder if there was a benefit of a dog going to an autistic children compared to, say, a well-trained adult. Like instead of, or I wonder if from the autistic children's point of view, it's better to have a dog than a well-trained adult.
well, yeah, I think that's the whole point of it. Like they've got two parents that are basically their whole world is revolving around the kid, where
Yeah.
the parents have to pay 100% of their attention to the
Yeah.
kid and try to get it to do whatever. Kids don't want to listen to parents, like especially if they're telling them no all the time.
Yeah.
Like kids are just naturally rebellious in that way, and then throwing autism on top of that, like severe autism.
Yeah.
It just, you can't really communicate. But dogs are really good at just like,
Especially young kids.
yeah, exactly.
One
The
of
dog.
my friends over in Switzerland, he's on the spectrum, and he was very hard as a child, just for the parents. Like he would throw tantrums here and there. So I think it's a lot harder as a child who is autistic, or at least for the parents.
Yeah, and it's beneficial for the kid, but honestly, the main benefit for why I feel like a lot of those families do it is for the parents. Because
Right.
when there's a dog to help look after the kid,
Yeah.
make sure the kid's okay, and all that, and then you can also teach the kid some sort of, the kid falls in love with the dog and wants to take care of the dog, and you can teach it like responsibility through the
Right.
dog,
That's true.
and all of that. Plus, yeah, now the parent doesn't have to be a complete helicopter parent, making sure your kid's okay all the
Yeah.
time. When it's got the dog, like, kids and dogs don't really fight.
Yeah.
They'll play, or they'll just chill together. And so, yeah, it benefits the parents a whole lot.
Maybe it helps that there's a language barrier, or that he doesn't get frustrated.
Exactly.
Because
The
I would
dog's just
imagine
like,
as a parent of an autistic child, after a few years, or I mean even less maybe, of taking care of this child all the time, you'd get frustrated very easily.
oh, 100%. You can lose your patience.
Yeah.
Like, kids without autism are like the most patience
Breaking.
testing
Yeah.
things in the entire world. Their whole thing is like, how far can I go? Like, how far out of the box can I go before my parents slap me back into the box?
Yeah.
And so there's a whole lot of slapping back into the box you have to do with a lot of kids.
Right.
And yeah, I feel like a dog is good for any kid, but did you ever have pets growing up, or
No.
no pets?
No, when we were in Switzerland, I mean, I was born in Switzerland, so we were there for 7 years or so. We never had any pets as far as I can remember. My mom was always too busy working. She was very heavy on working.
Yeah.
She
An author, right?
She's now an author, yeah, but back when we were in Switzerland, she was very high up in a company that did recruiting. So basically you would contact this company to have them, like you would contact this company, you'd say, hey, I need so-and-so person for so-and-so job at my company. And then this company in Switzerland, Talisman, they would basically figure out, okay, we have this whole fleet. I don't know what the word is, but like
People that they're ready to contact.
Yeah, like a bunch of connections and stuff. So they would basically
Now it's just Indeed.
they'd basically grab these people from other companies and they'd say, hey, we have a contract for you at this job.
Yeah.
Do you want it? And then they would match it up.
Just a little Cupid for corporates.
Basically, yeah. And I think a lot of bigger companies kind of do that more privately now, like say cleaning companies. I know a lot of cleaning companies do this, where you hire this cleaning company to do the work for you, and then this cleaning company subcontracts it out to other people.
Okay, like that's like middleman and like to like smaller
Basically,
cleaners.
yeah, exactly.
It's like, okay, if I'm like looking after the whole Oakville area, and there's like, I know there's a cleaner that mostly focuses in the Glen Abbey
Yes,
area. I
yeah.
can put them in contact with them, and they'll send that
I think
cleaner
that's
out
exactly
to.
it, yeah.
Okay, I says, damn, that's a puppy.
So
Yeah.
yeah, when we were there, she was very absorbed with the work that she was doing. She
Yeah.
was working basically all day, every day. So there wasn't a lot of time where she was at home taking care of the kids. And then my dad was doing a lot of work. He was more so at home, but taking care of 3 kids is hard enough.
Yeah.
And so taking care of any pets is just not really feasible if you're alone with 3 kids all the time. So we never really had any pets there. And then when we moved here, my dad started working, and my mom wanted to go back to work as well. So neither of them were home to take care of any pets.
Yeah.
And at that point, when we moved here, us 3, me and my brothers, we were in school. So there wasn't really anyone who needed to take care of us during the day.
Yeah.
There was school for that. And, there was no one home, right? My parents saw the opportunity to go to work once we came to here to go to school.
Yeah.
So, and there was no one really here to take care of a pet. And we have hardwood floors at home, leather sofa and cotton sofa. And I would imagine that it would get torn up or scratched up or something, and my dad just doesn't want to deal with that.
Yeah.
So no dogs. We tried a cat, and we got the cat home, and my brothers were ecstatic. They came sprinting down the stairs.
Yeah.
And they scared the shit out of the cat.
Literally?
Yeah. And, well, no, not literally, but the cat ran behind the washing machine and would not leave there for a few days. It would peek out and we'd have to leave food there and close the door so it would come out from behind the washing machine, eat the food, and then go back in behind the washing machine. My brothers were just so excited to see this cat that they scared it so bad that it sat behind the washing machine. When we finally got it out, we needed to figure out who was allergic to it, right? Because I had asthma. I think I still do. I had a lung function test recently to see if I do have asthma, but
No results?
no, not yet. I did have fairly severe asthma when I was young. So we were not necessarily, well, just a little worried that would kind of make it worse. My dad has fairly bad hay fever, so pollen and fur is bad for him.
Yeah.
So we figured my mom would probably be the safest bet to stay with this cat. So we moved one of my brothers out of their room.
Yep.
We moved the cat into his room and my mom into his room, and basically made my mom take care of it a week or so. A week goes by, and she has red puffy eyes, inflamed skin. Well, not inflamed skin, but like rashes and stuff.
Yeah.
So we found out that, she was actually allergic to it. So then I guess there's not much point in having a cat, right? You figure you get a cat or just a pet, and then you figure out one of your family members is pretty allergic to it and the others are partially. Not really much of a point.
Yeah.
So we got rid of it, or we sent it back to the shelter. And then I think after that we didn't really ever have a pet. We took care of a fish once for a family friend, and it was smelly.
A smelly fish?
Yeah, I mean the tank was just gross. I don't know if we just didn't take care of it well, probably. One of my friends has a fish, but or like an aquarium, but I think she said it was somewhat smelly. So yeah, no pets really.
No pets. When you brought the cat back in, you said your parents scared the shit out of it. I thought you meant the cat just shit all over the place. You guys just sent it back right away. Because that's not similar, but we had cats initially because my parents, same thing. They started off with cats because I don't know why they started off with cats.
I think they're easier to take care of.
Probably, yeah, especially for being like a young adult. Like, they were both working when they initially got together and got married, and then they had a cat then they had kids and moved to Oakville, and cat died, so we got 2 cats, and they were good. They were like siblings, so we had those 2 cats for a long while, and then one of them passed away, and the other cat was like didn't like that very much, got lonely. And me and my brothers were all like, give us a dog, please. Just begging for a dog.
Yeah.
And so that's when my parents got on that list.
Gotcha.
And eventually we did get a dog, and the cat would just like not appreciate it very much.
Right.
That it had to share its space with a dog instead of a cat.
Yeah.
And it would smack the shit out of the dog. Dog wouldn't care because it's like a lab, it's pretty big.
Yeah.
And it would just like poke it with its nose.
Yeah.
Like it wouldn't do anything to the cat. It would just be hyper curious and not care that the cat would be like hitting it and being like, get back, don't bother me.
Yeah.
I don't want to be bothered.
Yeah. This way.
This way? You know where we are?
Yeah.
Okay. I'd never walked these trails before, so I'm just guessing. But yeah, so the cat didn't like it, and it just got progressively worse. Like as the cat got older, it got like, I'm gonna start protesting, and its protest was just shit on the floor in the basement.
Oh my God.
And so my dad just had like none of it.
Yeah.
And then one day,
I think day 3 of the cat shitting on the floor on purpose, it's gone.
yeah,
Like I don't even care anymore. It can go back to a shelter or a new home.
yeah, no, I don't remember exactly how long we put up with it, but it was a while, because it wouldn't be like every single day, but like sometimes it would just be like, I'm just gonna take a dump in the back corner of the basement.
That's crazy.
Like, and we've got carpet in the basement,
Yeah.
so it's like, that's unfortunate. And then one day, what sent it over the edge, I think, it took a shit in my hockey bag.
Oh.
I didn't notice, so I put all my stuff in there, and I get to the arena, I open up my bag, and the room just like fills with the smell of shit.
That's horrible.
And like, that must have been pretty embarrassing for my dad. Like, your son, just
Yeah.
everything smells like shit on him.
Yeah.
And so,
Did you play?
I don't remember. I honestly don't remember. I think I probably did. I was a fucking stubborn kid. I'm like, if I'm
my
going to
God.
play hockey, I'm going to go play hockey. I don't
That's
give a fuck.
crazy.
I was also pretty young. I was probably like, how old was I then? Probably grade 6 or 7. Like,
Right.
it was around that time. And yeah, then we were like, okay, we cannot look after this cat with, and at that point we had 2 dogs.
Yeah.
And
a
yeah,
lot of work.
we gave the cat to, we have a family friend that has lots of cats.
Gotcha.
We just gave him another cat, and then it passed away a couple of years ago. It's an old cat. But yeah, then we transitioned to dogs, and I like dogs a lot more. Especially labs that are pretty well trained. Especially another benefit of the breeding dog thing, the dogs that are selected for breeding dogs are the calmest and
Yeah.
most like chill dogs that you'll ever meet, because
Yeah.
that's what they want in dogs that are for autism assistants who are here and here. Like, it's not necessarily the smartest dogs. You can train a dog pretty easily, but it's healthy and it's calm.
Right.
And so the dog can just kind of do whatever they want and just chill. And yeah, so now you know my dogs. They're Yenta and Dahlia.
Yeah.
They're really chill dogs. And like, when people will come over to the house, a lot of people have bad experiences with dogs when they're young and they
Yeah.
don't really like dogs.
Yeah.
And then they'll come to our house and be like scared of the dogs. Our dogs will get like a little bit excited and greet you at the door, but they won't jump.
Yeah.
They won't bite you. They'll just kind of lick you and just be happy. And so, yeah, a lot of people will be like, wow, you guys, most dogs are shit. You guys have pretty good dogs.
Yeah.
And so that's another thing that, I think that's also something that is like, it makes the family feel good. Like, we got good dogs. You don't
Yeah.
have stupid dogs running around. Like, so people with like little yappy dogs, I don't really understand the point of that, where it's like a little shit that you have to deal with all the time that's like barking,
Yeah.
that if you take it out in public, people are looking at you like, damn, what the fuck is that thing?
Yeah. I don't understand that either. I don't.
Yeah.
I'm not really one for having pets. I'm especially not one for having a small dog that yaps all the time.
Yeah,
It's not really for me.
yeah. I'm a big dog enjoyer. I like big dogs, but now I've also grown up with it, and so
Yeah.
it's like a lot more normal to have a dog. You know, you gotta, and also my mom does so much for the dogs. Like the 3 boys, whenever we're home, we kind of just chill with the dog, play
Yeah.
with the dog,
Yeah.
walk it occasionally. But it's my mom who feeds it twice a day, every day,
Yeah.
takes it on walks all the time, makes sure that nails are clipped, and
Yeah.
all the extra bullshit that goes on top of it. That's like, was partially our responsibility for a long time, like especially in high school.
Yeah.
Like, it'd be like, she walks her one of the days, and then, or she walks one of the walks in a day, and then one of the guys, like 3 brothers, have to walk the dog. And so that was good where it's like a little bit more. But yeah, now she's just on top of it. Now we've got 3 dogs, 2 breeders and a foster that's 2 months, probably like 3 months old now.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm a big time pet enjoyer. It is quite a lot of responsibility, especially like when you're young and you have lots of other responsibilities. But yeah, I think it's enjoyable. It is a pretty big time taker upper.
Yeah.
That if you're busy or have other things that take up your time, you're gonna have to cut something out when you get a dog. And
True. It's a lot of time, yeah.
but at the same time, I think it is also like if you do have kids, it's something that would teach them responsibility. And also like
Yeah.
if you want your kid to go do something, you should go take the dog for a walk. Like if you wanted to get outside
Yeah.
or do whatever, look after
Or
the
get
dog.
your kid outside.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. It's more of a get your kid outside than get the dog outside. Yeah, teach him some good responsibility and stuff. But there's also other ways to do that. But it probably is a pretty good way to. I've been thinking different ways of like installing discipline in a kid. Because when I was a kid, it's like I want to do what I want to do.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna do shit. But now I'm trying to get more disciplined, and I feel like, yeah, I don't know what different ways as a kid you can kind of start installing that in there.
That's something I think about as well. And what my parents did, at least one thing that I know that my parents did for me, is they always taught me the value of money. They gave me and my brothers pocket money here and there. And if we wanted something at the store, they would say, well, how much do you have? How much pocket money do you have? Oh, $20. And how much is that? Oh, it's $5. Do you really want it now? And then we'd say no, like, I have $20. I don't want to spend $5 on this thing. That's a quarter of everything I have. So that would kind of teach us A, the value of money, and B,
Do you have like a paper route as well?
Discipline. Yeah. I think I had a paper route when I was 10. Yeah, I started when I was roughly 10, and then I did that for a few years, and then as soon as I could legally work, I started working.
Yeah, paper routes are such a scam for
They are.
kids.
I know.
You paid like
I don't know how much I made, but it was like
$2 a day or whatever.
Basically, yeah. It was a lot of work for $2 a day.
Yeah, I had a paper route as well, and I think that.
I did it Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
Oh, same with me.
And Wednesday was the second heaviest. Thursday was the heaviest for some reason, and then Friday was
You
the
were
lightest.
Oakville Beaver?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, we definitely had the same job at the same time. Different area.
Yeah.
Yeah, Thursday was all the flyers for like the grocery stores and stuff. And then also sometimes they give you like magazines you have to hand out.
Yes.
Yeah, I hated that job so much.
Yeah.
I think
Did you
that's
have yours pre-wrapped? When we had our papers delivered, they gave us like
the bundles
on Thursdays. Yeah, bundles of
you
just stacks of paper, and you had to assemble the papers.
So step one is get everything on the dining room table, sort them up, get an elastic around. Do you use elastics or the bags?
Only the bags when it was raining.
Yeah.
I think they'd provide the bags when it was raining.
Dude, I remember getting like, my thumb would be so
Black?
raw.
Oh yeah.
It would, because elastics, getting the elastics around, it would make your hands so raw. And then you hand out the papers and your hands are all black.
I remember watching, like I looked down at my hands after the day was done, and it was like I'd been outside playing in the dirt all day.
I know, and I don't know if this was intentional or
Just
unintentional on my part, but when I did this for 2 or 3 years, I think, maybe 2 or 3 years seems about right.
Yeah.
Probably like grade 6, 7, 8, 5, 6, 7.
Yeah.
5, 6, 7, 8. I don't remember exactly what. It was like 3 years or so. And by the end of it, when I like didn't want to do it anymore, because my brother started it, and then I wasn't involved. And then it's like, I want to do it. My older brothers are doing it.
Yeah.
And then when they stopped doing it, I'm like, why the fuck do I still need to do this shit? And so my parents would get so mad because your hands would turn black.
Yeah.
I'd get back in the house. I wouldn't wash my hands, and I just like run down to the basement to do where like the Wii is or something, play some video games.
Yeah.
I just scrape my hands along the
Oh my
wall
God.
and just black ink smudged all the way down.
That's so funny.
And like, I don't know if, like, of course I would get in trouble, but my parents would be like, also, I don't want to deal with this shit if he's going to keep doing it. And so, Yeah, eventually I got another job as hockey timekeeping.
Yeah.
And they overlapped a little bit, and then I cut off the paper out and was just doing
Oh
that.
no, they're overlapping a little bit. Looks like I have to drop one.
Exactly.
What a shame.
What a shame.
When I was a kid, super young, my dad would always keep my hands really clean. Whenever there was anything on my hands, he would just wipe it off. And so now, subconsciously, whenever my hands aren't perfectly clean, just a little bit like sticky or anything on it,
Yeah.
it takes a lot of brain power to just ignore it.
Oh, dude, you must hate when you get like
So-
sap on your hands or something.
I
something
hate
like
it
that
so
that
much.
can't
Or-
come off right away.
Say you open like a jar of jam or a thing of honey for whatever reason. Jars of honey they're always sticky.
Oh, always.
Or
syrup. Syrup's
or
another
oil.
big one.
Yeah. So as soon as I open it, my hands are just sticky, and I have to, like, if I'm cooking especially, I'm washing my hands like every
Do you do a
minute,
full
every 2
wash or do
minutes.
you just rinse it off?
Oh, I just rinse it off, and then I can feel whether it's sticky or not.
Yeah, I hate people who like have a dirty hand and they'll like grab a handle of something
Yeah.
and the handle's fucking dirty.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm probably, I don't think I'm quite as anal about that, but yeah, I think having something on your hands, I just like, I can't do anything with that hand now. Like, I
Yeah.
just don't want to touch
Yeah.
anything. And then, yeah, it's, I think cooking is probably a big thing for that. But yeah, also, my hands will be dirty sometimes. Like, there's some dirt that you don't really notice. Like, I'm not looking at my hands very often and
Yeah.
seeing like,
Yeah.
are they dirty or not? And I'm a big like, put your hands up and like, there's like a bulkhead in a room where it's like I can put my hands on it and
Yeah.
like lean on it, get a good stretch. I'll do that. And now at my house, there's just always fingerprints
Oh my
on
God.
stuff. Because I'll have like very minorly dirty hands.
Yeah.
And then just like, yeah, I'll get home from the gym or something and then put my hands on stuff.
Yeah.
And it gets just a little bit dirty. And then just over time, it builds up. So I have to be wiping stuff off a little bit. But which way? This trail has so many forks. Like, you're taking me on the forkiest trail in the world. Busting out the map right now, figure out which way
Yeah.
we're going. I haven't even seen the creek in
This way.
so long.
I thought it was this way. I don't actually know that's a dead end. I remember.
Ah, we're going back. Tell me we're about to walk down a hill and then back up another hill.
Oh, we're walking up another hill. Yeah. It's way down though.
Okay. Yeah, oh, I can feel this in my knees.
So you're doing another year of school, right?
I am doing another year of school. You are also doing another year of
Yes.
school.
Yeah, both going to our 5th year. What kind of classes are you taking for your last year? Surely they're more specific and more advanced, right?
Probably. Honestly,
You haven't looked
I've
at it
not
yet?
looked too
Oh, I
deeply
see.
into it yet because we get
Do you have a course
one
selection guarantee?
non-technical elective, and yeah, we get one non-technical elective and one technical elective,
Yeah.
and then the rest of the stuff is already pre-chosen.
Oh,
so we
I
get
see.
2 options. It's the most options I've ever had in my life. 2 options. The rest of the time is just, yeah, everything's because in engineering, kind of have to have everything standardized.
Right.
Like if I'm doing structural engineering, there's basically everyone has to do the same structural engineering program.
Right.
Like there's not much variety.
Do you think that's an advantage or a disadvantage? Because then everyone's
I think
going
it's
through the same thing,
I think it's a kind of,
but then also it's standardized across the industry, right?
yeah, I think what it should be is everyone does kind of the same content, but there's like minor classes and major classes.
Yeah.
Where maybe they take 2 classes that would have like a full term class.
Yeah.
And they squish them together and do 2 half-term classes.
Yeah.
If someone's like not interested, I have to take 4 soil mechanics classes. 4 of them. That is the stupidest thing to me in my entire life.
Don't enjoy soil mechanics?
I hate it. Oh, I don't hate it, but like, the professor has not been the greatest.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's about like, okay, we've got a building that weighs this much that has to go on some soil that has this water content, and it's this type of soil, and there's this layer that's this meters thick, and this
Yeah.
layer that's this meter. How much is it going to settle? How long is it going to take to settle?
That's just pretty important. Engineering.
It's very important, but if that's not something that I want to do,
Yeah. Oh, true.
then
yeah.
I'm just gonna, I'm just gonna treat the class like I just gotta pass this stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, pass this stuff means like get like in the high 80s.
Yeah.
But
you're not gonna study for it like a ridiculous amount.
I study about it for the tests. I don't study about it for being good at it.
Right.
There's some classes like steel design and reinforced concrete design where I'm studying it, to learn the mechanics of it, to see how I could apply it. And it's not about just passing the tests. It's about learning and absorbing and spending more time on it.
Right.
And so if I could treat more classes like that and have these classes where I can still learn the content, I could have done an accelerated thing that does like cut that time in half. Like, I'm a pretty quick learner. If that was an option, then I would have loved to do that. Just to say I have learned it once, I understand the idea behind why it's important.
Yeah. But
at
let
the same
someone
time,
else do soil mechanics while
I'm not going to be
things.
going to a job site to worry about that. I mean, it is interesting though. There was a job that I'm on co-op right now, doing some engineering stuff, and one of the I'm still on is an elevator pit has water that's like leaking through the wall from the groundwater.
What kind of building is this for?
It's like a 20-story condo building.
Okay.
And so there's an elevator shaft in the middle that, like, if the whole foundation is like this, the elevator shaft goes down just a little bit. For people listening, I just did a flat plane. The elevator slab is the only thing, or the elevator shaft is the only thing that goes down below the typical level.
Yeah.
And so the water there must be super saturated, and like the water pressure is so high, it's shooting through the wall and
into the elevator
shaft and causing a leak there.
Yeah.
Because there's some damaged piping and stuff. But also, water shouldn't be getting through.
Yeah.
So there's lots of different approaches that we've taken to mitigating that.
So you have to fix the pipes and seal a leak somewhere.
Fix the pipes. We've tried to like drain out the water as much as possible.
Yeah.
Like, so that the water like if the water table's so high, as the water table goes up, the pressure increases on it, and so the higher the pressure, the more water's going to get in. So if we can drain out,
the bigger the holes get, right?
Yeah, and if we can drain out the pipes, then the water can relieve some of that pressure, and hopefully not build back up again.
Is it in use? Is the condo in use right now?
Yes,
Okay.
it's a fully functional. And so,
well, that sucks even more then, right? Because there's residents depending upon the water pressure, so you can't really empty out an entire condo of water.
No. Okay, so the water pressure isn't from like the pipes exactly. It's from. It's kind of complicated how it works, but it's the groundwater pressure. Like all of the water, all of the ground we're walking on, has a water table underneath it, right?
Yeah.
And so it's that the water table must be really high in that area that it's causing the pressure to come through the ground into like the concrete that's there. And so what our idea was to cut out a little section behind the shaft in the slab, and then dig out a little bit of dirt. Yeah. And then
just allow the water to accumulate there.
No, we would just waterproof the side of the thing so that the water just couldn't get in. Right. The water pressure would still be there, but now there's an extra layer of waterproofing. Yeah. And the whole point of that was because the building is in use, if we could 100% just shut down the 3 elevators, waterproof it from the inside, problem never happens again. Yeah. But the management company of the property doesn't want us to shut down the elevators.
And that's what I was saying, is if the condo is in use, then you can't just shut down the entire building for a week and then work on it.
Exactly. So
that sucks.
Yeah. So, but then, because of what I remember about soils and foundation design, the foundation on the elevator shaft is of course lower because it's the only thing that goes into the ground there. Yeah. And there's columns that are resting on the ground that are at a higher level. So if we dig out the dirt there, it's depending on that dirt to keep itself standing. Right. So we can't dig out that area without risking that column from collapsing. Yeah. And so we have to, that was our initial plan, but then we looked at the drawings, figured out the angles of how close the footings are for the columns, and we realized that's not going to work. Yeah. So it's like stuff like that. I could have learned all that stuff in one term and still came to the same conclusion for this very general work that isn't quite so specific. Yeah. And then if we did need to do that, and we did need to get someone to do the full calculations to see how much soil can we take out without it becoming an issue, then we just contracted out to someone who was into the soil stuff.
Lucky for me, I don't have any of those kind of classes where
How
boring.
selective are your classes? So
Well-
you're doing economics and
physics.
physics.
And yeah. And,
Dude, that was not a while before we start going back uphill.
and
just kidding.
some other classes as well, mathematics and data analysis. So the way it works at U of T is you can be as selective as you want. There's a specific program, so say you sign up for the econ program, there are econ minor or major or specialists. So to graduate at U of T, you need 2 majors, a major and 2 minors, or a specialist program. So if you sign up
Wait,
for...
So 2 majors,
Yeah,
a major and a minor, or a major and 2 minors?
a major and 2 minors.
Major and 2 minors.
Yeah, so 2 minors are equivalent to a major.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. So, or 2 majors are equivalent to a specialist program, right? So
Yeah.
at U of T, you need that to graduate. So say you sign up for an econ major.
Okay.
There's a list of courses. So if you sign up for the econ major, you need a couple first-year courses, a couple second-year courses, a couple third-year courses, a couple fourth-year courses.
Yeah.
Basically, you need to fulfill all of these courses. And say for first year, you can choose Eco 101 and Eco 102, or a condensed, or a year-long equivalent of those two. So Eco 101 and 102 are micro and macroeconomics, or you can choose, what's the course? It's something like
There's like a year-long minor or micro.
economics for business students or something like that. So it's
Oh.
a relative equivalent.
Yeah.
And then in second year, there's the intermediate micro and macro. And then there's equivalent of those courses, but more, what's the word? Like proof-oriented. If you've taken any, I mean, you have taken math courses, right? So
Yeah.
you know there's like basic calculus, and then there's calculus with proofs.
Yeah.
It's kind of similar in econ, where you have intermediate micro, and then there's a more proof-oriented version of that course.
Okay.
So in second
Do
year,
you
you
prefer
need...
the proof ones or the...
I haven't touched the proof courses.
No?
I don't know if they're proof courses, but they're... I think they're just more mathy and less intuition. I was never really interested in the math ones. I did math already, so I didn't really need... I could already do the math
Yeah.
and understand the math behind these courses, so I didn't really feel the need to go into more advanced math, but I wanted to go into more advanced intuition-based courses.
Yeah. I feel like developing an intuition is a lot easier than developing, especially with computers that exist that can just do the math anyways. You just kind of have to understand the core principles and then get better at the intuition stuff.
Somewhat, yeah. I think if you've done calculus, so I did Calc 1 and 2.
How many calculuses did you have to do? Or
3.
did you do?
So I did 2 years total of calculus.
Yep.
I did Calc 1 and 2 in first year, and then Calc 3, which is multivariable calculus. I think that's Calc 3, it might be Calc 2 in other universities. But I did multivariable calculus in second year, and at that point, you kind of understand all you need to for a lot of other courses, like physics or economics,
Yeah.
with the exception of ordinary differential equations and partial differential equations.
You don't touch those at all?
I did an ODE course. That one was really fun.
Yeah. Ordinary differential equations is like the easiest type of calculus in my opinion.
Yes.
Like memorizing like all of the derivative rules or integral
Yeah.
rules for like 2 cos squared theta, like
yeah.
2 cos 2 squared theta, like whatever. All of that type of stuff it's just pure memorization.
It is,
Like
yeah.
knowing the arithmetic behind it is, you can't do it in time. So like if you did a full derivation every time, you just wouldn't have the time on a test. So you just kind of have to memorize, this is the rule, this is the rule,
Yeah.
this is the rule, apply it.
I don't really find that useful in any case, really.
No.
Like, I in econ, you don't need complex math, at least in first, second, and third year courses, you don't really need complex math. Maybe it's different in fourth year courses. But in second year courses like macroeconomics, the math is, and I mean all of them, so macro, microeconomics, and then econometrics, which is like stats for econ, you don't really need complex math. So for micro, it's like firms' decisions based on other firms.
Yep.
What's the optimal decision for me to make based on my competitors, based on the market that I'm presented with? How can I price optimally? And then macro is more like, how can the central bank of a country control the economic situation of the country?
I was gonna say, how can the central bank control all the people?
No, I mean, in a way, they can, because if the central bank didn't care about, I mean, in the short term, in the long term, if they didn't care, the people would catch on and monetary policy would just never work again. But in the short term, the central bank decides how the economy is going to move. And then econometrics is more so how, if I look at this firm's, say, revenue for a bunch of different products, what might be the best-selling product and why? Or if I have this entire stats table based on, say, demographics table of a population of a country, what can I infer from this?
Okay.
So you're looking for significant. So say.
So it's like the more.
Well, one really important topic that people are trying to figure out is the wage gap, for example. And it's, you know, if you look.
Just which wage gap?
Well, say you look purely based on men's income and women's income. On average, men earn more, right? It's a very basic thing to look at. If you control for other variables, like say you control for age, average education level, prior experience. So if you control for all of these other variables, then the relationship, or the wage gap, so to say, becomes less clear. I haven't done the actual analysis myself, but I would imagine, and this is pretty much how it goes with a lot of these stats findings, is that X versus Y is not a good way to look at things when there's other variables in play. Like if I'm
like number of kids you've had.
Yeah.
Like
say I'm a man and I'm 40 years old.
say you're a man. You're not a man.
Say I'm a 40-year-old man and I graduated from a university. It doesn't really matter, and I have an education in engineering. Of course, I'm going to make more than another person, man or woman, who is 25 years old and graduated with a degree in some social science, for example.
Political science.
On average, engineering degrees make more than social science degrees.
Yeah.
And on average, older workers make more than younger workers. So of course there's going to be a difference, right?
Yeah.
And it's not really fair to look at the wage of a 40-year-old engineering PhD who has 15 years of experience compared to a 25-year-old female engineering or psychology person who has just an undergrad degree who just started their work. Like, it's not fair to compare apples versus oranges. So the point of econometrics is to kind of rule out, or not rule out, but control for these additional variables.
Yeah, like you'd have to compare to get the most even comparison. It's kind of not even possible to get a real comparison.
It's very hard.
Because you'd have to control for, ideally, number of days worked, which at that case, there's some people who work 10-hour days, there's some people who work.
It's very.
So you have to control for the hours,
right?
And then you have to control for where did you work, and like working 15 years at some big company as like doing engineering, but kind of just like management stuff, or like just not working as hard as someone who's an engineer but has been working 15 years at a small, very niche company that's very specialized, that has a very high value provided. Like, you're gonna make different things. You can't just compare all engineers. And also,
And that's why it's really hard, right, to compare really large populations. So the point of econometrics is to make statements about a larger population, right? I can't go out and I can't ask all Canadians what their average or what their average years of education are, what their degree is. I can't do that. So
you
the
have
point,
to like take
you take a small
surveys
sample.
and samples. And
So you take a sample of about 1,000 people is generally pretty good to make a pretty big statement of
hit the
about a
law of large
population.
numbers.
Basically, yeah. And the point of econometrics is to make this statement about a larger population based on a smaller sample. But the thing is yes, you want to control for a bunch of variables, but if you over control for these variables, then it's also not good, because
Then it's just sampling bias, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know that. Yeah, maybe I've forgotten the term, but as you control for more variables, you're going smaller and smaller population, right?
Yeah.
Say I look at just people who have 15 years of experience in just engineering, PhDs. That really, really tightens the population
Yeah.
that I'm trying to make an inference on. So you want to be careful with over controlling for variables.
How does with the sort of math, or is it with econometrics, it's controlling for variables and then trying to make an inference. What exactly are you figuring out?
Part of it.
Controlling for, or are you doing like the math behind, like trying to plot the trends?
So that's part of it. In the intermediate econometrics, you have the variables given to you, and you just say, like, say you are looking for average income of, average income of all public employees. So like people who work for the government, people who work for, it's on the Sunshine List, I think it's called.
Yeah.
Anyone who has their salary openly disclosed,
Yeah.
who works for the government or some sort of public institution, must have their salary disclosed.
Yeah.
So say you want to look at all of these people and look at their salaries. You might want to compare the salaries of people who work in universities compared to people who work in colleges,
Yeah.
right? So I would expect that professors who work for universities would on average make more than professors who work for colleges.
Do you have to, in like the whole format of solving these problems, do you have to pose a hypothesis and then compare against, like, is it kind of like the scientific thing?
So, yeah, basically you start with, it depends on where your starting point is. Sometimes you start with the data given to you. Sometimes you don't have the data given to you. So you have to go out and you have to collect the data. And that's a very expensive part of doing any kind of data analysis. But say you have the data given to you, you might have a few questions to ask. You might want to ask, like, is the income of this group more than this group? Or you might want to ask, by how much older is this group than this group? Or you might have a suite of variables, and you might want to pose some questions based on those variables. But if you're going out and you're collecting the data, then you have to have an initial question in mind, and then you have to propose these extra variables. You might say, I want to compare the income of men and women. What variables might I need to control for? And what questions can I ask, or how can I collect the information of those variables?
Yeah.
So like collecting information on age is quite simple, but collecting information on work ethic is not so simple,
that's
right?
what I was thinking.
If you ask someone how highly motivated are you to work, they might internally say, I'm really highly motivated to work, but when presented in a work environment, they might just be average.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. The perspective is, any perspective on yourself is most likely going to be flawed.
Yeah.
Like, people will underestimate, people try to inflate their own egos or deflate their own, like, someone who thinks they're really top shit, but like is really just average will overestimate. Someone who's like, man, I'm not really good at this, but like
Exactly.
thinks that they could be performing above their expectation. It's kind of hard to gauge that in just a question. And also, like, I've been thinking about rate of learning is different for different people about different topics.
Yes.
And so that's like an impossible thing that's like kind of what you're trying to figure out, because you're never going to be able to say how fast are you able to learn and apply something is a very big, I would imagine, contributor to how much someone gets paid.
100%.
If you can learn something really quick and then also apply it and provide value with it super quick, then that's obviously going to be...
You're going to be worth more money to the company,
Yeah.
And that's the thing, if you read a lot of these papers, the proper way to write a paper, and this is what I was taught, I had to write a paper for one of my courses, you initially start with the question you want to answer, and then in your introduction or abstract or start of the methods part, you basically list all of the assumptions that you made, and you list or you present how you accounted for the variables. And it has to be, like, all of the methods have to be acceptable to the reader. If the reader looks over these things and for half of them they think, yeah, there's no possible way this makes sense, then the paper is just really bad. And people aren't going to look at the paper, they're not going to do anything with the paper. It's just going to be something that you published and something that's forgotten about. So when you're making all of these assumptions, you have to make sure that the assumptions are well represented.
Big ass bird in the water over there. Sorry, distraction. In the paper you want to make sure that you can't just like...
You can't make assumption A, B, and C if they don't make sense.
Yeah. And you're always going to have to make assumptions. So it's just like making the most reasonable assumptions you possibly can.
Oh, yeah.
Or else it's just not going to be... no one's going to care if you're just saying, like, you're starting from the point... Like, if there was someone that was, like, doing a paper, just assumption A, just men are better at working than women. No one's gonna...
Yeah, no one's reading that paper.
Yeah.
As soon as they see that paper's closed, it's just gone.
So, but someone could still publish that paper and then say they've got a publication,
Oh, yeah,
right?
absolutely.
So
Well, it depends, right? So, when you publish a paper, it depends on where you publish it. And to get these papers published on bigger websites like PubMed, I think, you need to go through a whole application process, and you need to have other PhDs read your
Review
paper.
it.
Yeah, exactly. And if it's not peer reviewed, then it's likely, either it is likely to not get published, or it's likely to not get a lot of attention.
I've always wondered about, like, the peer review process is kind of the top of its, like, that's like the top of the top, like, method of getting papers published, right? That's the thing is, like, if you have a peer reviewed paper by this certain group of people, then it's... But if you're writing a paper, then you're going to have the most amount of information about this thing. Is it when something gets accepted or rejected? I'm just trying to understand how much does someone understand about this? Like a paper in wormhole theory. If you gave that to like some PhD who's never studied it before and is just like, yeah, that seems to make sense. Yeah, that kind of makes sense. I don't really understand it, but it kind of makes sense. Like, how much of there is that versus like...
I don't know.
Yeah.
But I would assume for things that are breaking the boundary, like something like wormhole theory, you will have the people who are most knowledgeable and they will read it. But I think for things that are less breakthrough, like say you're looking at crime rates compared to education level in some city, you would just have people who understand econometrics and they read that. Because you're not making any breakthrough assumptions, you're not making any breakthrough arguments or anything particularly new. You're just using old methods on new data. So you have just smart people reading it and saying, yeah, we accept this, let's publish it. But I would assume for something like where it's really breakthrough, you have really specialized people in the field, and they read this and they would say, yeah, you know what, this makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense. I'm curious for physics, what like classes you take in that, because I've done
There's
a
four
few
main
different
streams.
physics in engineering, but
Yeah.
it's mostly just kinematic stuff, electrical stuff.
Yes.
Like that's all physics, but
It's
there's
pretty
also
similar.
now some new types of physics that I've tried to understand, like quantum mechanics, and that just
Right.
doesn't make no sense. Did you do stuff like that, or is it more just like
So there's four main
kinematics? Okay.
streams. When you do a physics major, you need to have, so there's 4 possible courses that you can take in second year, and you need to have 2 of them, I think.
Okay.
4 possible physics courses. There's other math courses that you have to take as well, but you have to take 2 of the 4 physics courses.
What are those 4 streams?
And the 4 are, one of them is classical mechanics.
Is that like kinematics
yeah,
and
yeah.
physical
Basically,
motion?
yeah.
Okay.
There's electromagnetism.
Okay. So just like ions and how like magnetic forces.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I took those 2. And then there's also quantum physics, and there is
You can take
thermal.
quantum physics in second year.
Yeah. I don't know
Goddamn.
how advanced it is, but from what I've heard, it's a really, really tough course. I mean, quantum mechanics just itself is tough, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can go into those 4 streams. And then in third year, you just do a more advanced version of those courses. So
Okay.
last year, I took a course in advanced classical mechanics, and that was doing stuff like, what's it called? Oh, I forgot.
Forgotten all. Can't be that important then.
It's been so long since I've done physics. I've been, because I switched into econ fairly late. So
Okay.
I had to really go super hardcore on econ and just do a bunch of econ courses. So
Yeah.
everything else was kind of forgotten about.
Yeah.
But yeah, you go into more advanced versions. And then I think in third year and fourth year, based on the courses that you took, you're eligible for other courses,
Yeah.
like optics.
Yeah. So there's a full course on optics itself.
Yeah, yeah. And then there's lab courses as well
Okay.
in second and third year. So you can also do lab courses where basically you get put into a lab, and then you have a series of projects that you could choose from. Say, re-identifying the value of gravity, the acceleration of gravity, or the charge to mass ratio of an electron, like that kind of thing.
And just through experimental.
So experiments, yeah.
Yeah.
Basically, you go through these experiments and you learn how to write a physics level paper based on these experiments.
Okay. Okay. And did you do much of those, or
I did 2 of those.
two
yeah.
of those?
Yeah.
And so have you covered all the bases for your physics minor?
Physics major, yeah. I've
Physics
done,
major, yeah.
I think I have 2 more courses to do. I have one 4th year course, which is going to be on time series analysis.
Oh, I just did a course. So I did a similar course, just AI and time series
yeah?
data.
So I have a feeling that one's going to be fairly easy because I've done econometrics, which kind of already works with data in that format.
Yeah.
And I did a lot of work in the paper that I wrote on time series data as well. Now, I could just be speaking out of my ass. I might not have any idea what's going to go on in this course, but from what I remember, I took the course last year, or I started to take it, and then I asked the professor, how much coding is this going to take? I'm afraid my coding isn't up to par, and he said quite a bit. So I had to drop the
Okay,
course
so
and
is
then
it
take some
a
coding
mostly
courses.
coding-based course?
I think it's time series analysis in Python or in R. So I had to go back and learn both Python and R to be able to actually do the course.
Yeah, that makes sense. Like, yeah, that was one of our last AI courses that we're really taking. It's AI and time series data. Is it more just? Do you know if you're using AI models to?
I doubt
understand
it, but I've used machine learning,
Okay.
which was actually really helpful. I was surprised. I thought it was going to be kind of like it's fairly new. I think there was machine learning, basic machine learning, back 10 years ago or something like that. But it really got
it's been
more
evolving
advanced.
for a long time.
Yeah.
But it's just the curve to how good it's gotten is like
Exponential.
very exponential.
Yeah. So I did some machine learning techniques
you remember what exactly?
Tree
it did?
diagrams, I think, or
Okay.
something like that. I don't know. But a lot of it was for just stats related stuff.
Yeah.
So that was super cool to use.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's going to be used in this time series course.
Yeah. Doing AI is part of my degree. I don't know how you find doing economics, but it seems like something that is kind of changing a little bit with AI being able to do a lot of the stuff that I would imagine you're learning right now.
In
Like,
econ, not so much.
Not so much. That
In
you don't think-
econometrics, it can be used,
Okay.
right? So if you're trying to do data analysis, absolutely you want to use some sort of machine. Like if you can either do data analysis through some methods, or you can just brute force it. Computers are really good at brute forcing. So as computers get better, you can brute force some maybe causal claims.
Okay.
And there's a distinction between causal claims and non-causal claims, where you can't make causal. Say I have a bunch of data that I just have that's published by some bureau. I can't really make causal claims on that data. I can't say age affects income for sure. I can just say as age increases, income tends to increase.
Yeah.
Unless I'm doing
just
other
be
things.
like economics and stats just be like, yeah, this may or may not happen.
Yeah, basically, yeah. Until you fulfill some conditions, then you can start to make causal claims where, say you fulfill condition A, B, and C.
Is it kind of like confidence intervals where it's like you just have to be this much confident? No.
Well, you do use confidence intervals. And say you have a confidence interval where the 95% confidence interval is positive, right? Say between age and income, as age increases, income tends to increase by say $10,000 to $20,000 per extra year of age. Then you could say that we're 95% confident that the real income increase by age is within these bounds.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
So that's
yeah,
where the confidence interval comes in handy, where you can say, we're 95% confident that a person who is older by 1 year tends to earn between $10,000 to $20,000 more dollars.
Okay. And so, what you switched into economics because
Yes.
you like it or enjoy doing it, or you see it's useful, or
So I needed something else. I started with a lot of science. I started with physics and bio and chem. Didn't like bio and chem. Switched into physics, math, and psychology. Didn't like psychology. So I did physics, math, and econ, and I really liked econ. So I switched
Okay.
into the econ major.
okay. And have you thought a lot about what you're planning to do with this econ knowledge that you're getting?
Honestly, I'm interested in working for the government. I think that would be fun, especially like I just did a macro course. I really, really love the course.
Okay.
Hopefully I can be a TA in the course next year. I've gotten somewhat of an offer from my professor in that course. So hopefully I can be a TA in that course, as well as a TA in the econometrics course, which I just was. But I really, really like that. So I could work for the government, or any government really, that wants to implement correct monetary policy or fiscal
So
policy.
you
I
work
guess.
for a central bank,
So
or
it depends. So there's two separate branches in which the government can control the economy. One is through monetary policy, where the central bank adjusts their baseline interest rate, which affects how other banks, like public banks, like RBC and whatever, they change their interest rates based on the central bank's overnight interest rate. So say the
Okay.
central bank sets their interest rate at 2%, another bank can borrow money from the central bank at a 2% interest rate value. They can't, the other banks can't set their interest rates lower, and they can't set their interest rates higher. So it's kind of a benchmark.
why can't they set them lower?
So say this bank sets their interest rate lower, then everyone would buy from them,
Yeah.
and then all their money's gone. They run into serious problems
So
of
liquidation, like they're just illiquid now.
Yeah, basically. They lend all their money out, and now they have no more money. And then if this bank has no more money, then they go bankrupt. And then they, that's just really, really bad. And they can't set their interest rates higher because, say you're RBC and you're borrowing from CIBC and the central bank. If the central bank has their interest rate at 2% and CIBC has their interest rate at 3%, why, as RBC, would I borrow from CIBC at 3% when I can borrow from the central bank at 2%?
And the central bank is allowed to make this policy because they can just print money. So they'll never go bankrupt.
Kind of, but you have to be careful with printing money because printing money is really, really, like, as you print more money, you are both increasing inflation, or you're putting upward pressure on inflation, and you're also decreasing the value of. Say Canada prints $10 billion of money, then there's $10 billion more of Canadian money in circulation.
So what if everyone wants to borrow from? But what if everyone wants to borrow from the central bank and then they run out of money, but they can't go bankrupt because of the central bank?
So there's never really that problem because you can't borrow that much money from the central bank. Like you can only borrow so much until you have problems paying off that debt. Say as RBC, I want to borrow $10 billion from the central bank. How am I going to pay that off?
With good investments, just
double
it, just double it again.
Yeah, obviously. So you have to be careful with it.
Yeah.
So the government can control the economy through the interest rate from the central bank.
Yep.
Or they can control through a different branch, a separate branch that has nothing to do with, but they're supposed to be disassociated with the central bank is I think it's the federal branch where they control fiscal policy, taxes, government spending, that kind of thing.
Yep.
So that's why when you look at the states...
Does the government always borrow from the central bank?
What do you mean?
Or is the central bank just part of the government? They can just spend whatever
So the
they want?
central bank, they set the interest rate, and I think that they also, so like the Fed, for example, in the States, they set the interest rate, and people also borrow from that. Do you want to go that way?
Yeah, let's go back, but then go that way,
sure.
hit a dead end, come back.
So the Fed in the States, they set the interest rate, and then people can borrow and give to this Fed.
Yep.
The government itself might want to control the economy through taxes, through government spending, through there's another method, but I've forgotten.
Yeah.
But like they control the economy.
Yeah.
Say I increase taxes. Say I'm the government, and I increase taxes.
Say you're the government. And you increase
I'm
taxes.
decreasing disposable income of people, and that will slow down the economy. Right? Say I'm the government, and I take 30% of your income, and now all of a sudden I say I want 50%. You have now much less income,
money.
right? So now you have a lot less to spend. Exactly. So you can slow down. So you piss a lot of people off that way, but you also slow down inflation, and you slow down output as well. So there's two things that the government is worried about.
If you didn't do that, if you didn't increase those taxes, and you wanted to spend that same amount of money, you just have to kind of print it to be able to spend it, and then inflation goes up.
And that's the thing, right?
Yeah.
If a government, say the government goes into a war, right? Mm-hmm. Say this, a lot of what we think about in econ is from the eyes of the states, just because the states is close and it's so big. Say the states goes into the war, into a war, they have to finance that war somehow.
Military industrial complex, baby.
They can print more money, or they can increase taxes, or they can borrow money,
or they can sell bonds and stuff, right? Is that
exactly?
What's that?
Yes. Yeah.
What type of part is that? Is that just something different?
So that's similar to taxes.
Yeah. But it's voluntary.
Yes, it's voluntary. But so say you want to increase taxes. That's pretty simple.
No worries.
Or say you want to borrow money from other countries. That's pretty simple, right? You just say, hey, I'm the United States. I want to increase taxes. Too bad for all of the people. I'm just increasing taxes. Too bad.
I swear it's going to be temporary. I swear.
So you can do that, or you can borrow money from other countries.
Yeah.
Where you say, I'm the United States. I want to borrow this money. I will pay you back at an interest rate. And the States has been in this very good situation where they
Have a lot of allies.
Not necessarily a lot of allies, but they are such a powerhouse in that they can just borrow all the money that they want because the United States or the US dollar is considered really, really safe.
Yeah.
So if I'm a relatively poor country, I want to lend my money to the States because then for sure I'm going to get it back plus interest. There's no way that the States will default on their borrow. So you can go through those two methods, or you can sell bonds, in which you say, you as the United States government or the central bank, you say, here's a bond, a 10-year bond. You buy it for $1,000. I'll give you 8% in 10 years, or 8% per year for 10 years.
Yeah.
Right? So if you're another country, that's a really interesting and good offer. And then there was another method. What was the other method?
Is there any way of like, I'm guessing this would never happen, but I'm just thinking hypothetically, would there be a possibility of like a kind of hostile takeover if, say, you're selling a lot of bonds and then it looks like a bunch of different people are buying the bonds, but everyone who bought the bonds comes together and is like, yeah, we kind of own you now. That just wouldn't really work for the United States because they got guns.
It's not, it's dead end, I guess. It's not gonna happen that way because international relations.
Yeah.
You don't want to lose another country in terms of international relations. Like you don't want to lose another country as a trading partner. So that I don't really ever see that happening. But
That happens in companies though. Like
firm-based that could happen. But as an entire country, you're going to decide that you and a bunch of other countries are just going to cut out another country and make an enemy for a very long time. That's never going to happen.
Yeah.
And there's, beyond just government relations, there's political things as well.
Yeah.
If you as a government decide to just say, screw you, United States, you owe us money now with like 7 other countries, you're just getting booted out of office. It's just going to happen.
Yeah.
So that's never going to happen.
CIA will come in there real quick.
Basically, yeah. So the point of the government and specifically the central bank is to control the economy, and they have three main things in mind when they're trying to control the economy. They want low and stable inflation.
Yep.
They want low and stable unemployment, and they want a stable exchange rate.
Okay, and they want a lot of people to also be like able to spend money, because the more people spend money, the more the economy goes yay.
Yes, to a point, right? Because as more people spend money, that puts a lot of upward pressure on inflation. Because say everyone now has $10,000 more to spend, they're going to demand more goods. The goods are more in demand, so now the price of goods increases.
And then inflation.
And then inflation increases, and then people see that increased inflation. Other firms observe that increased inflation, and they now increase their prices even faster. So you need to be really careful with it, because inflation can really skyrocket out of control.
Yeah, and does inflation ever go down? Like,
Yes. So inflation, ideally you don't want negative inflation, because then say you are thinking of buying a new car.
Yep.
You see a car for $20,000. You wait 3 months, and then you observe that the car is now $19,500.
Why would I buy the car?
Why would you buy the car? You can just wait a little bit longer and see the price going down, right? So 6 months goes by, the price of the car is now $18,500. I'm just going to wait a little bit longer. I can just save money if I wait a little bit longer.
Yeah.
So you never really want disinflation.
And then the economy will go down because less people are wanting to spend money.
Exactly, because everyone at the same time observes decreasing prices. That is going to halt the economy, because no one wants to spend now, they want to spend later.
Yeah.
And then that just leads into a really bad cycle of never spending.
Okay, so if what kind of happens then is there's a minimal but not negative, not zero inflation. Let's walk this way a little bit more.
Okay.
And then like you want it a little bit above, because then people want to spend money, because if they don't spend their money, then they'll need more money to spend.
Exactly. So ideally, you want an inflation rate between 2 to 5%. A lot of people, that's what the anchor is. A lot of economists are arguing that 2% is too close to zero. Like if a really big supply shock happens, then it can dip below 0, and then all of a sudden you have disinflation, and then you're just screwed.
Yeah.
So 2% is quite close to 0. So a lot of economists are arguing for 3 to 5 or something like that. And the rate of inflation doesn't really matter as long as everyone is on the same, along the same thought process.
Okay.
If everyone expects inflation to increase by 10%, then it will increase by 10% now, because everyone's going to buy now, but no one is equally as poorly off. At least that's what I've learned. So the ideal inflation rate is between 2 to 5%. Countries like Switzerland, for example, have maintained an interest rate of
Switzerland is good with money,
an inflation rate of negative 0.5%. I don't know why, don't know how. That's something to learn for later.
Does Switzerland have their own currency then? That they can...
Yeah, so they have the Swiss franc,
Okay.
which is a very valuable and stable, for lack of a better word, dollar.
Yep.
And it's always been very valuable. And the exchange rate with Canada, something like 30 years ago, was 1 for 1, and now it's like 1 for 1.6 or something, where the the Swiss franc is now worth 1.6 times as much as the Canadian dollar. So that's one of the central bank's goal, to maintain the economy, and then of course they want low unemployment. That's unlucky.
I feel slow right now. Where did we go last time?
We went up that way.
But it's closed now. That sign was not there.
We didn't take this bridge last time.
Where did we take?
It's over here.
Oh.
And then also low unemployment. You
Yeah.
want everyone who wants a job to have a job.
Yeah.
So there's, and then also a stable exchange rate, right? If I want to trade with the States as Canada, and the exchange rate is not
The exchange rate is pretty not great for us right now, is it?
It doesn't, so you need to be careful with the exchange rate, because there's also, like say in Canada, our dollar is worth 0.7 times the value of the US dollar. So the US dollar is worth about 40% more than ours.
Yeah.
If US goods are priced 50% more than ours, then there's a discrepancy, right? So you need to think about exchange rate and also purchasing power. If I go to Europe with Canadian dollars, I might observe that European goods are $2 cheaper, or like about 66% cheaper.
Is that Hitler?
Probably.
Gotta love graffiti.
Yeah, so you need to be careful about exchange rates, and then also purchasing power, which is how valuable the dollar is in terms of your own goods. So
Isn't that how like a lot of people will, quote unquote, like get rich, kind of beat the system? Their goal is to like find those discrepancies where they've got more spending power for a certain currency.
that's called arbitrage, yes.
Yeah.
And the thing about arbitrage is, in the open environment, or in the open economy, arbitrage is possible, but it's only possible for a very, very short amount of time. Say I'm an investment banker and I see an arbitrage opportunity. Every other investment banker that's under the same boat as me is going to see that too, and only the first few people are going to get that opportunity, and then the market levels out again.
It's like I actually made an algorithm last winter for a sports betting arbitrage thing where I would scan like 14 different sports books that all have their lines for different sports, like hockey and basketball and football, and then it would just notify me if any arbitrage opportunity came up. But you have to react to it within
like seconds,
or it's just not going to be,
it's gone, because the market levels out so quickly.
And then you also, with arbitrage, you kind of have to like put a shit ton of money in to get a little money back.
Yes.
Like the biggest arbitrages I saw were like 0.5%, 1%, like 2% maybe. But it's like guaranteed money, but at the same time you have to put like thousands of dollars in to get the littlest bit.
And that's the thing with stock markets as well. That's why stock markets, like if you observe a value of a stock at the New York Stock Exchange, and then that same stock at the Toronto Stock Exchange,
Can I just chill here for a little bit?
Sure.
Sit here and then walk back in like 10 minutes?
they're going to be equal in terms of, if you adjust for exchange rate, they're going to be equal
Yeah.
because arbitrage is so
Quickly.
the market is so quickly adjusted. Yeah.
Yeah, because if you're the victim of like an arbitrage, not a victim, but like someone's guaranteed to make money on your sale, then you're kind of not doing your part.
Yeah.
You fucked up. You did
Basically.
something wrong.
So, I mean, that's where other techniques come as well with stocks, like shorting stocks,
Yeah.
where if you know that something's going to happen, then you might want to short a stock if the price is for sure going to go down. But yeah, so we were talking initially about exchange rates.
Yeah.
So here's an interesting point. In economics, we consider a recession differently from the way the public considers a recession. I think the way the public considers a recession is negative output or non-growing or negatively growing output for 2 quarters in a row, I think, or something like that. I don't really know how it's identified. The way that an economist would identify a recession is whether real output is below potential output. So say an economy has 50,000 people and it has $1 billion to spend. With those 50,000 people and the $1 billion, it can produce a certain amount of goods. It has a potential to produce a certain amount of goods.
Which is never really ever reached, is it?
It is, and sometimes it's overreached. So say,
Okay, then how is the potential calculated?
well,
'Cause
so it's hard to, it's a theoretical thing,
okay.
but it's not out of the ordinary to think about. And say you just think of all of Canada.
Yep.
All of Canada can produce a certain amount of goods. It just can, right? Based on the amount of people that work. You have the labor force, and then you have the amount of money that's in circulation and the amount of firms that work together. You can just produce a certain amount of goods. If, say you predict inflation in the future, you might want to spend a lot of money now to employ a bunch of people or spend a bunch of extra money to produce extra goods, in which case real output goes above potential output, right? Because in a stable situation,
Like if like
real
someone
output is at potential output. Right?
So if someone came in with a more efficient system that like and hired like 10,000 people and put them under this more efficient thing, then we would be able to achieve higher than theoretical output.
Kind of, except with technological improvements, potential output increases as well.
Okay.
So say you're just predicting a future price increase, you might want to spend a lot of money now to purchase a lot of goods or make a lot of goods now so that you can sell them all at the future higher price.
Okay.
So in that case, you're hiring a bunch of people who might not necessarily be in a labor force. So say the wage that you're willing to pay is $20.
Yeah.
There's people who don't want to work for $20, so they are not unemployed, they're just out of the labor force. Unemployed is considered people who are looking for a job but can't find a job. If you're not actively looking for a job, then you're not considered unemployed, you're just not in the labor force. Or not in the working labor force. So
That doesn't really make sense to me. If you're
it's just the
So,
way it's different.
so like a
because-
homeless guy who like is like fine being homeless just isn't like not taken into account for the labor force.
Yes, because
He's never going to find a job because he's not looking for a job.
exactly.
Okay.
So it's kind of different how economists look at things. Is it's more realistic in that if someone's not looking for a job, they should not be considered unemployed nor employed because they're not looking for employment. So they're always going to be unemployed if you look at it from do you have a job or do you not have a job?
But they're still taken into account for, like, they're kind of just, like, public services would still apply to them even though they don't have a job. Like, they would still have to be taken into account in the macro of, like, if the government needs to spend money on a social program, they still need to be taken into account as a population that would. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yes, but I think that population is fairly small.
Okay.
I don't know the actual statistic, but I think a large proportion of the working age population, which is 16 to 65, I believe, people who can legally work. Obviously, if you're 65, you can legally work, but that's typically the age of retirement.
Yeah.
So 16 to 65 is the working age population. A very large proportion of those people are looking actively for a job. There's not many people in that area who aren't looking for a job right now. A lot of the people who aren't looking for a job, for example, are people like stay-at-home parents who might not actively be looking for a job.
Sorry.
But say you as a firm, you see this future growth opportunity, you might be willing to pay $21 instead of $20. So people who weren't looking for a job
But now-
might see that higher wage and they might say, hey, I want to work now. So now what that's going to do is that's going to put upward pressure on inflation now, and it's going to put a lot of upward pressure on output. Say you're producing 50,000 units now, you see a future growth opportunity, you're going to increase your wage so that you might entice, because each of the workers are more valuable to you now, so you might increase your output to 60,000 units. So now real output is above potential output. The potential output is like a steady state value of output.
Okay. But I'm not fully getting this because why would potential output at a given time,
Yep.
if you make a change, the potential output has to adapt to that change,
Yes,
no?
correct.
So if you made a change to hire more people for more money, then the potential output then changes to match whatever. It would
So
increase the potential output,
the
right?
potential output is in the steady state if nothing changes. We have 50,000 people, and there's no technology change, and there's no change in the amount of capital that we have, then how much can we produce?
Oh, but now if you're spending $21 an hour,
Then you would increase real output above potential, because in the future, after you've sold all those units, after inflation, after this growth opportunity has kind of been captured,
Yep.
you might now drop your wage back to $20 after you've captured that growth opportunity and it's done, and then you might go back to your old potential output.
I see.
So what happens is, if there's an opportunity, then a lot of firms might spend a lot of money now to increase output now, and then real output will be above potential output, which puts upward pressure on inflation.
Okay. But I just, what I'm seeing is we've got a time series where potential output here and potential output here, you're saying it's steady state for you calculate potential output at this time here.
Yeah.
That just stays steady, or because as you move, the potential output is like a dynamic value, no?
No, because it is a steady state value, meaning that if output is separated into three things, productivity,
Yep.
labor, and capital, you have, in the long run, a steady state value of capital, a steady state value of productivity, and a steady state value of labor, the amount of people that can work for you. So increasing something in the short term will not affect the long run steady states.
Okay, but based off of cash flow, your capital would change. Based off of the dynamics of how much you're willing to spend on labor, your labor value would change.
In the short run. After you've captured the growth opportunity, in the long run, you'll reset back to your potential output.
But if you grow from a growth opportunity
Yep.
and get more money, then why would you know that the growth opportunity is eventually going to stop? Like,
because most growth. So, say you're a factory selling chairs.
yep.
You're selling 50,000 chairs to another company. Say this company now demands another 50,000 chairs for one period. Then you're going to want to produce a lot more of these chairs, so you can do that either through increasing the amount of capital that each of your workers has to work with, or you increase the amount of workers that you have.
Okay, and then
What's to
back
say
when the
that-
demand goes down
Yeah,
because
exactly.
they've fulfilled their order.
Exactly.
And now you've got way too many people working at your factory and no one to
Exactly.
buy your chairs.
Exactly.
Okay.
So now, say that's what I mean by growth opportunity. Maybe I just stated it poorly, but say another company wants 50,000 more chairs, you have to fulfill that somehow. You will fulfill that through more capital, so each worker is more valuable to you. So you're going to increase the wage. Say you have 50,000 more chairs to make. You're going to make each worker more efficient by providing them with more materials to work with, or more better equipment, or something like that. Which is going to increase the wage of those workers, which is going to, because they're more valuable, which is going to in turn get other workers to come in because they're going to see that wage, that increased wage. So they might now be willing to work for that wage. So typically a growth opportunity or an increase in demand will both increase capital and labor in the short run. And then once that growth opportunity has stopped, say in the next period, that other company no longer demands 50,000 more chairs, then each worker is less valuable to you, so you're going to lower the wage, and then that lower wage is going to get rid of the people who came in for the higher wage. So now you're going to reset back to the potential output that you had.
I see.
And with this short-term increase in real output, what happens is each of the chairs is now more valuable as well, right? So there's increased demand for chairs. So now each chair is worth more. What's going to happen is you're going to increase the price of the chair, which is going to put upward pressure on inflation. If the other company purchases your chairs and sells them as a set with a table, they're not just going to absorb that increased cost of the chair, they're going to increase the cost of their entire set as well, right? So that puts upward pressure on both the price of our chair and the price of their
Because there's less chairs to go around, less table sets to go around, because...
No, it's because, say we are a chair manufacturer and we're selling to IKEA.
Yeah.
IKEA wants more chairs to sell with their entire kitchen or dining room set. We now, as the chair manufacturer, we see an increased demand for our chairs. We're going to increase the price of our chairs because there's more chairs to be sold. So each chair is now worth more. So we can now charge more for each chair.
If there's more chairs to be sold, then why would they...
Because each chair is now more valuable to other people. Say there's only 100,000 chairs to be sold, but there's 200,000 chairs that are in demand.
Okay.
Then each chair is more valuable, right? So now those chairs are more valuable and they will sell more to IKEA. And now IKEA, they're likely to not just absorb that cost. They're likely to increase the cost of their dining room set as well.
Yeah.
So now what happens is their dining room set increases, our chair price increases, inflation has upward pressure.
And so as a macroeconomic person, you would have to be able to identify the areas in which the demand is going up of stuff to see how it's going to affect your inflation as well. And then affect your policy or whatever you need to make decisions on.
And that's why it's
based
so
off
hard
of that.
for central banks to make a policy, because there's so many different industries and companies and...
Yeah, I was looking at something earlier today that was like the different points of inflation where it's like housing has inflated quite a bit.
Yep.
But stuff like technology is getting relatively cheaper.
Yes.
And so there's like a mismatch of inflation depending on the industry.
And that's why it's so hard to calculate.
So you would have to, do you kind of have to try to make everybody happy based off the average inflation?
Yeah, and that's why, so... yes.
Because like food's also inflating a lot.
So here's the thing, right? Let's think about the euro. So we went through a big discussion in class about the euro and why it's not the best idea, and why a lot of economists agree that the euro is not the best idea.
Because it's shared between a bunch of different countries?
Exactly. And say you're a relatively poor country like Greece, where you have relatively low output and your economy is not flourishing compared to, say, Germany, which produces a lot. If
you're all sharing the same...
Because you're all sharing the same dollar, let's think about Germany.
Yep.
Germany is going through a lot of output increase, so their inflation is really high. What they want is a high interest rate, because a high interest rate will slow down the economy. Borrowing is now relatively more expensive for both firms and for individuals. So people are going to borrow less and spend less, and now the economy slows down. What Greece wants, if they're going through a stage of low output, they want a lower interest rate because they want borrowing costs to be decreased so that people will buy more, borrow more, and spend more now. And so there's a mismatch. Germany wants higher interest rates. Greece wants lower interest rates. And what happens is you don't know what to do.
Yeah.
And that's why the European Central Bank, I think that's why the UK left, because I think the UK had the euro at one point, or they had their British pound pegged to the euro, where it was 1 for 1, where the exchange rate was 1 for 1, or it was pegged at a certain value, like 1.2 for 1, and it was just held at that value.
Yeah.
The mismatch creates a lot of problems. Right?
So if the European Central Bank makes a decision that's
Either it's good for Germany and bad for Greece, or good for Greece and bad for Germany.
Could it not just be equally bad for both of them?
And that's the thing, is that's what they need to do.
But it can't be equally bad for 47 different people.
No, but if you look for an average, and that's what makes the euro kind of bad, is because no matter what decision you make, someone's going to be badly affected.
Yeah.
And you need to just kind of hope that each country has its own policy in which it can charge its own tax rate.
Then when you said there was like the 3 different things that a government can affect, and when central bank is taken out, then there's only 2 things that it can affect.
Yes.
And that's kind of like you're just kind of taking a hit up to chance, basically, for your country. So why are more people not leaving this system?
Because it's kind of standardized and it's really hard to leave. Now, I don't know the answer to that one, but I imagine as a country, say you're Greece and you want to leave, or say you're Germany. I think Germany, they had the Deutschmark, and then they went together with a bunch of countries and made the euro.
The Deutschmark.
Say your entire country uses the euro, you can't just pull that out.
Yeah, because they're still going to have
impossible.
euros. They're still going to need to use euros.
Exactly. Like you can say, and it's really hard to say, let's get rid of the euro in 5 years, because then everyone's going to spend their euro now, and then there's going to be hyperinflation now, right? Everyone's going to spend their euro because in the next 5 years you're switching to a new currency. Some people are going to hold on to the currency.
Could you do like some sort of buyback program?
You can, and I think I think that might work, but there would probably, I don't know, I don't know too much about that. I would assume that it would be pretty tricky to have the government buying everyone's dollar, because then there might be some other problems that arise. I don't know too much about that one.
Okay.
But I would imagine there would...
But because the UK already had their pound in place, it was kind of easier for them to just phase away the euro.
Yeah, because I think there was some stage in the... somewhere between the 80s and the early 2000s where there was some sort of crisis, economic crisis, and basically the pound, the British people were tired of, they really wanted a lower interest rate, and Germany really wanted a higher interest rate, and they're kind of 2 really big powerhouses, and they were conflicting. So or maybe it was the opposite. One wanted a lower interest rate and the other wanted a higher interest rate, maybe. But either way, 2 big powerhouses are conflicting in what they want. So the UK was just like, okay, we're done. We're just leaving. We're just gonna let our British pound float however we want it to. And there's this really interesting concept in international macro. It's called the monetary trilemma, which basically states
monetary trilemma?
Yeah. It states that a country can have none of the following 3. It cannot have independent monetary policy and free capital flows. So like you can't have an independent monetary policy and let other people move their money around different countries, and also have a stable exchange rate, like a fixed exchange rate with another country. Say I'm the US, and I want to have my exchange rate fixed with Canada. I can no longer have one of the following, either an independent monetary policy or free capital flows.
And why is
And
that?
the reason for that is, say the exchange rate must be fixed,
Yep.
right? And I want the other two. If I want free capital flows as well, then that means that, say there's upward pressure.
Oh, I see. I remember from what you were saying
Yeah.
about like the spending power between the two of
Exactly.
them. If you have an independent policy, then depending on what Canada does, the spending power dynamic changes,
Yes.
and so the free capital will definitely flow one way or the other, and it's
Exactly.
not good. Okay,
Exactly.
I see.
So you can't have all of those three things. And as a bunch of other countries, the euro, they all have the
fixed
exchange rate. Now they have all collectively given up the independent monetary policy. They all
Because
have one
they have to
central-
have free capital. They have to
Exactly.
be in control of their capital flow. Because if they're not, then
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
If you want to give up free capital flows, which is what China has done, they've put on laws where you can only move, I think it's $10,000 per year of US dollars equivalent in Chinese yen at a time, then they've put that in place so that they can have a fixed exchange rate with other countries and an independent monetary policy. Because if you stop capital flows, then that means that there's less arbitrage opportunities to go.
yeah, you can only do $10,000 at a time, which
Exactly.
wouldn't affect you very much as a
Exactly.
country.
Yeah.
Damn, that's crazy. You want to head back to the parking
Yeah, sure.
lot? Oh man, that's coming to the end of a big economic talk. All I can think about is laughing between us in like high school, just getting on Fortnite and just shitting on kids all day, to now like 6-7 years later, we're just
Yeah.
in a forest talking about economics. That's hilarious. That is not exactly what I envisioned
No,
for us.
same.
Thinking back, when you were younger, like in high school, did you ever think about where you would be at like 21? Like, is that a thought that would cross your mind, or
Honestly,
not
I thought I
really?
was going to go into med school or something like that. I didn't really put much thought into it, to be
Yeah,
honest.
yeah, no, me neither. I was not quite a forward. It was a very. I feel like there's a big pattern of reactionary things. Like, I don't know, maybe I would make a plan, but then something would change, and then immediately it would just like disappear, and then I'm like, that's kind of useless making a plan anyway. So
Yeah.
why would I even do that? And yeah, this is not where I thought we would be ending up. Have you thought about which country you want to work in? Would you want to go back to Switzerland?
So
Or?
I have 3 passports. I have one for a Canadian passport, I have a Swiss passport, and I think I have a European passport as well, or at least to England. And I think the Swiss passport gets me anywhere in Europe.
Yep.
And then there's the British passport, which lets me go into the UK as well. So I can work anywhere in Canada and Europe.
Damn.
Now, I'm not entirely sure where I want to work.
Where you want?
I was thinking about the States for a while, but it's really hard to work there.
Yeah.
Like, I was looking into it, and you need to apply for a green card,
Yeah.
which can be a really long process, and then
Or marry a American lady.
maybe, yeah. But I mean, it's just so hard to get into the States.
Yeah.
And I think it's kind of a shame for a lot of people who want to work in the States. Like, one way is to get a company to sponsor you.
Yeah.
But say I, as a Canadian citizen, am on par with a U.S. citizen, and we're both applying to a U.S. company.
They're going to choose the U.S.
They're
citizen.
going to choose the U.S. citizen because
So you need,
they
like-
don't have to pay for my fees to go through the whole visa process.
So you kind of need to blow them out of the water a little bit
Exactly.
to get that. Yeah. Yeah, that's interesting. And then,
And to work in the U.S. government, you need to be a U.S. citizen.
yeah,
So you need to go through the whole process, and that can take
a long time.
like 8 years or something
Yeah.
before you're a U.S. citizen. So probably Canada or Europe.
Canada or Europe? Where in Europe would it be, do you think?
I think Switzerland would be cool.
Switzerland?
But honestly, I'm open for anywhere in Europe. I think it would be cool to go anywhere.
Yeah. Yeah, that's,
Do you want to work around here?
I don't know, probably, I feel like choosing where you want to end up and like settle down is a pretty big, like one of the major decisions
Yeah.
you have to make in
Yeah.
life. And so I just don't think I've got all the got all the variables picked out that I like want this,
Yeah.
and then like it restricts how much different spots there are to be. Like right now, it's like as you said, it could be kind of anywhere because I haven't made my choice if I want. Like I know some of the big things would be like I want a safe place
Yeah.
to have
yeah,
kids.
absolutely, yeah.
I want to be able to have lots of different job opportunity. I want like then as the list goes up, the amount of places I could go is like decreased. But while I'm still in school, yeah, I honestly haven't really thought too much about that
I think
either.
we can't be too picky either, right?
Yeah.
Like going into the labor force for like a real full-time job for the first time, because all we've done is part-time jobs and co-ops and internships. Going into the labor force for a proper full-time job, you can't be too picky.
No, not at all. And you have to really prove your value.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's about. Yeah, it's tough to try to figure out, like, as much as I agree that like goals and a vision is important, like from what I've seen so far, they kind of change really quickly. So it almost feels useless to try to make a goal and then in like 3 months you're like, okay, like if you're changing your goal in 3 months, what was the point of even making that choice to have that goal? But you kind of also do need to have a direction that you want to head in. But yeah, Leo, this was a pretty fun talk, pretty good Saturday morning,
Yes,
I would say. Yeah, it was a lot of hill walking. Went to a very, very hilly park, but yeah, we're coming up to it. You want to plug anything? What's your LinkedIn? What's your Instagram?
No. There's nothing there really.
Nothing there? Yeah.
I mean,
I feel that.
There's LinkedIn, but it's just my name. So yeah.
So Leo Mckinnon. All right. Well, it was a pleasure, and we are signing off.